Alright, welcome back to another episode of Impossible Versus Matches, the podcast where we take pop culture characters from all across fiction and we have to improvise some sort of scenario that makes them cross over and get pissed at each other. So, joining with me today is my good friend Jayson. Jayson, say hello.
Hello, Jayson. Sorry, I just have to be that piece of crap right now.
And I said, Jayson, say hello, so you just look like a fucking idiot.
Well, you know, I think that's just my trademark at this point. You know what I mean?
After the Bill Cosby scenario.
Yes. Hey, that Bill Cosby bit was gold.
That was pretty fun.
That was pretty gold. We should make merch that says Harley with Bill Cosby's face on. Honestly, we might get in trouble with putting Bill Cosby's face because, apparently he's, dying right now. So
he's been dying.
True, but still, apparently he's on his deathbed right now. But fuck him. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get this going.
Welcome to the podcast. If this is your first time joining us, I'm sorry. But
they know what type of energy whenever I get on
But
here.
you should know exactly what to expect on this show is to expect nothing, because this is episode 33 now.
I think
so.
Maybe
you should get on that if this is your first time listening. There's a lot of content for you. Hours of it.
Yeah. All of it.
Make a day.
Make
binge
a whole day of just listening
and you know what?
to this stuff.
And you know what? It's a podcast, so you can listen to it while you're doing your dishes or something. Get me some views other than 8 views and a dislike.
There
please.
You go.
Thank you.
That one dislike.
Hey, whoever you are.
Hey, to the one person that disliked my man's video,
Fuck
your mama's a hoe. All right.
Bitch
anyway,
ass. So you guys know the rules. Jason's got a list of characters. I got a list of characters. We're going to randomize and we're going to improvise things. Now for this episode and maybe the next episode, depending on how it goes, I'm gonna throw a little bit of a curveball into this because I haven't changed things around for a minute. So we're going to rock, paper, scissors to see who spins their wheel first.
Okay.
Just out of one.
So we're playing church camp rules. I like that.
Well, I don't know what that means.
Well, you know what you should know what that means.
I cannot confirm nor deny that I know what that means.
You should know.
But what we're going to be doing is, so basically the winner of that spins their wheel first. Now here's the thing. Here's how it actually affects things. We're still improvising our scenario, but the person that spins first, their character has to be the instigator. They have to start the fight.
Okay.
So
whoever says first, they're the person that actually starts the fight.
Right.
Yeah.
So in my classic example I like to use, so if somehow we ended up with George Costanza versus King Kong, but George Costanza was chosen first, then he's the one that has to find Kong and then piss him off enough to start a fight with King Kong.
Oh,
so we're going to go right into our first scenario. So, Jayson, you're the guest. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first for talking about the scenario?
You go first.
All right. Then we're going to rock, paper, scissors. All right. So, Jayson wins.
Yes.
Because he did rock, I did scissors. You can't see that because it's a podcast. But that means you spin your wheel, and we're going to find out who our instigator is. Ooh, little sound effects going on. Wow.
I had no idea. All right, mine is Kraven the Hunter from Spider-Man lore.
You know what? If there's someone that would be a good instigator, it's someone that's already a villain but also a hunter.
Yes, Kraven the Hunter.
And this is actually very fun. This is very fun if you know the story. He's going against Dwight Schrute from The Office.
Then it writes itself basically.
Yeah. So, as is tradition now, we're going to give a little brief bio of each person. So, for the audience's sake, go ahead and let them know a little bit about Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven the Hunter is a character created by Stan Lee, and he's a Spider-Man villain, and he's hired to hunt people. That's why his name is the Hunter.
That's right.
And he's a not much of a notable Spider-Man villain, except he's basically been the only Spider-Man villain to closest to actually kill Spider-Man. But then like he pretended to be Spider-Man, and it turned out Spider-Man wasn't dead. His heart just stopped, and he crawled out of his grave. And then Kraven like ate a bunch of spiders because he wanted to become Spider-Man, because he views Spider-Man as the ultimate hunt. So to be Spider-Man, you have to like eat a bunch of spiders.
So he's very much like the Most Dangerous Game.
Yes,
the,
he is that. He's the antithesis
where
of that.
hunts people, but very much that like classic hunter of like the leopard skin pelts at the same time. Where's he from?
Huh? He's Russian.
Russian, okay.
He's Russian.
All right.
And also, he doesn't wear like a leopard skin. It's more like a lion's head, but like you have to see his abs and his pecs.
Of course, it's comic books
because it's a comic book. He looks more like a wrestler than he does.
He does look like a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And for the few of you that don't know, Dwight Schrute from The Office is started out as Dunder Mifflin's yes man, the assistant to the regional manager. But as the series goes on, he begins to get more of a personality where he wants to be in charge. He cares very much about his work, but he's also like a farmer type guy on the Schrute beet farms, and he's into a lot of very strange like rituals and things like that, very odd traditions. But I would also actually call him a hunter as well, because he does that. Even though he works for a paper company in an office, he's very much kind of a outdoorsman, or at least puts on the air that he is. Very weird guy, Dwight is.
Yes. Yeah. So, you want to make a scenario, right? Or,
well,
since my guy's the antagonist, right?
Well, you wanted me to do the scenario first.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
So I have to find a way for Kraven the Hunter to become the instigator for Dwight to get pissed off at him. So.
Right.
Well, I'm going to say, so, Dunder Mifflin, the paper company, has opened up a new branch in, let's say New York. They open a new branch in New York, and Dwight goes there to, oversee things, like oversee the opening and oversee the the way of doing things, I guess. And for those of you who don't know, spoilers if you don't watch The Office, I guess, he becomes the regional manager at the end of the show. So now he's higher up in the company, and they send him over to, make sure everything is shipshape because his Dunder Mifflin branch is doing so well, right? And now this is New York, and this is where Spider-Man is. So, I would say that Kraven is pulling some sort of stunt, because I'm sure every Spider-Man villain ends up in New York at some point, even though he's Russian and very much hangs out in the jungle.
Yeah. The jungles of Russia.
Yeah, the jungles of Russia. The snowy, tropical jungles of Russia. But, so, let's say Kraven has just had an altercation with Spider-Man where he has the upper hand. Think Spider-Man's dead, in fact, and, proclaims, his corpse for all to see, and claims to be the world's greatest hunter.
Yeah.
And now Dwight sees this in the paper and decides, what kind of hunter is he? He's not even wearing the proper garb. So he puts out basically a smear campaign to proclaim that he is in fact a superior hunter.
And Kraven does not like that.
Yeah, Kraven is not very happy with that. I mean, he just hunted Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's a pretty hard guy to kill.
And this random, douchebag.
This random weird dude from a paper company is
is
proclaiming to be better.
you.
Yeah, so Kraven, since he is the instigator, decides to, even though I guess Dwight is doing a little bit of instigating, but Dwight is not doing it with the purpose of sullying Kraven. He's doing it for the purpose of boosting himself, and perhaps people reporting on this will buy more Dunder Mifflin paper. So Kraven decides that he is not going to let this slide because he just took down Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man's a hard guy to kill. Many people have tried. Very few have succeeded. And even if they do succeed, they don't succeed. Going by your story earlier.
Yeah.
So Kraven does his classic, Spider-Man villain routine, and puts out a smear campaign himself, and announces to everyone, because no one's going to stop him now. There's a bunch of other Marvel heroes, but they don't usually butt into other people's fights. He decides that he is going to hunt Dwight. And that's where things go a bit awry, because Dwight seems to be about a step ahead of Kraven in these ways, because he knows he's being hunted. As we know, he's a master of disguise. So basically it just starts like a hunting competition between the two that Kraven has now started, because he decided to not just let Dwight do his thing and just let it fade away. He decided to hunt Dwight.
Okay.
And so he's like going after Dwight, and Dwight is like hiding, but then the turntables turn, and then Dwight is hunting Kraven, and it kind of goes back and forth for a bit. Obviously, Dwight is not going to really make it out of this, because Kraven is tangled with bigger antagonists than Jim's pranks.
Right.
So obviously Kraven's probably going to have the upper hand, but I believe how they would come together is through some sort of hunting contest where they both are now trying to one-up each other on who is the manliest outdoorsy man, despite one of them working in an office.
Oh, okay.
And not as funny as I would have liked it to be with Dwight, but I feel like that is realistically how they would go together.
Right. No, that makes sense. It just makes sense with like Dwight's. They both have alpha male personalities.
Yeah.
So it'll just be like a more hilarious, like sort of clash like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck.
Right. It'd be kind of like that, because Dwight's disguises are passable.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that episode about like where he's disguising himself as every member of the office so that he can trick Jim.
I think I remember that.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, the stuff with him and Jim are just gold.
That's absolute gold. Most of the office is gold.
Yes.
Except for maybe the last. Anything after Michael leaves kind of goes down.
That's where I dropped it off.
That's where it goes down.
Because it was such a perfect ending.
Yeah, it's a great ending, and then they just kind of they're like, let's keep doing it.
It's like, no, you guys gave Michael the happy ending. You gave everybody. Everybody was good.
It should have just been like, so Jim and Pam, they're married, they have a kid.
Yada yada.
Jim gets the new job.
Right.
Michael finally finds his person, leaves, and then all they had to do was just make Dwight the manager right there, and then boom,
and
series is over.
Just like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then everything's tied up. All right, so you ready to move on to the next one? All right, so we're going to rock, paper, scissors again.
Yes.
This is your scenario, but the person who wins this rock, paper, scissors is the instigator.
Okay, I got you.
So, all right, so that means my character is the instigator. Jayson chose paper, and I chose scissors because it's a podcast.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go ahead and spin for my instigator.
Axel from specifically Kingdom Hearts 2, member of the Organization 13. Do you know about the Organization 13, Joseph?
I don't wanna.
In Kingdom Hearts? Well, I'm gonna tell you.
All right.
Organization 13 are made up of nobodies. Do you know what nobodies are? So in Kingdom Hearts lore, there are these things called the Heartless. Do you know the Heartless? So the thing about the Heartless is that they're like these shadow creatures because they don't have hearts. They're former people, but their hearts are taken from them. Not like your real heart, the thing that pumps blood. It's your metaphorical heart.
Okay.
Great writing. It's your metaphorical heart, your spiritual heart, right? Whenever that's taken from you, you become a heartless.
Okay.
But what's left of you, right? So it's like your metaphysical heart becomes a heartless because your heart's taken from you, but the rest of you, the empty shell that used to contain your heart, is now a nobody. Nobodies don't have anything. They're just empty husk. And that is what Axel is, because the nobodies are ruled over by the Organization 13, which are 13 nobodies who are led by Zenmus, right, which is a whole can of worms himself, right? And Axel is one of the members of the Organization 13.
I see a vision of the future. And the future is me going onto YouTube and going and seeing the watch time duration and knowing exactly where the viewers drop off. And it's during that explanation.
Okay.
Tell me.
Also, he has these really cool, like, circular sort of, like,
all right.
weapons. Like,
well, tell me about Axel himself.
Well,
he's the redheaded one, right?
Yes, he's the redheaded one.
I remember.
Yes. He's the one that all the fangirls make fan fiction of.
Yes, I remember the MVs.
Yes. So, he's from this place, I think, it's called Halabashan, and he used to just be a kid, just living there, until basically he got turned into a nobody by Zenmus, like everybody else in Organization 13. That's more like later, you don't really know that, but later down the line, right? He has this other friend named Saya, his real name's Lee.
Oh my God, Jayson.
His real name
Just
is
give
Lee.
me a brief thing. Like, what's his personality? Is he a dick?
He's a redhead, so he has a very fiery personality. Also, he has fire powers.
Okay, there we go. That's all we need to know about him.
He has a friend named Saya, and his real name is Lee. But when they got turned into nobodies, you get an X in your name because
that doesn't matter.
Irrelevant. Hearts. So Lee becomes
Axel,
and Saya becomes Syax, and Syax is a dick of a boss. I'm serious. Like, Syax is the worst thing ever. But, so Axel becomes friends with Roxas. Okay.
It's supposed to be a short explanation.
All right.
What's their personality? Where are they from? What do they do?
He's a redhead, pretty anime boy with fire powers.
There, that's all you had to say.
Okay.
I didn't have to know this whole garbage-ass plot. Meanwhile, he's going against Robin Hood.
Which Robin Hood?
Now, that's... So...
Which
going by
one?
the rules,
Fox?
Well, going by the rules of this,
or the guy who was in Kingsman.
Well, there's no one named Robin Hood in Kingsman.
No, Tigger, the guy who's like the main dude. He was like in a bad Robin Hood movie with Jamie Foxx.
Oh, that one. All right. No, so going by the rules of this show, if they have crossed over before, then we can't do it. Now, Robin Hood, the Disney version, the Fox version, is not in Kingdom Hearts. However, he is Disney and Kingdom Hearts are together. So, now, the cool thing about characters that have many adaptations is that you can use whatever version you wish. So, for this one, you can use just any Robin Hood other than
the Disney
Fox
Robin Hood
one.
is the fun one.
Yeah, I mean, they're all the same character, really. They're charismatic, they're the heroes.
Yes.
Rob from the rich, give to the poor. It's just that one with Jamie Foxx is just really lame and not trying to be... But then you got, like, the classic, like, the 30s, like, the Errol Flynn one, who's the same thing as the Disney one, just, a little more gallant. You got the Shrek one.
That's true. Which they based it on the 30s one.
Yeah, the Errol Flynn one, yeah. So, but I mean, Robin Hood is also, a literature character, so all you need to know about Robin Hood is, he's very, like, charismatic, robs from the rich, gives to the poor, an archer, very skilled archer, that is probably, like, his biggest
defining thing.
His biggest trait is very skilled archer. He can also, sword play.
Yes.
Knives.
Axel has like these cool circular swords that light on fire, and he throws them around like fire.
So we got a little bit of a competition here. Yeah. Robin Hood is also kind of brags a bit, kind of boisterous a bit, because that whole there was a whole plan, by Prince John and the sheriff. You can see it in the Disney one where they just hold an archery tournament because they're like, Robin Hood's going to come up and, show how awesome he is, and that's how we're going to catch him. It's just how is he going to show up? Disguise himself. Can basically do, he's your classic, sword wielding, archery, bow and arrow wielding type hero guy. So, but Robin Hood, here's the antithesis, is that Robin Hood is the hero, but he, because I won the rock, paper, scissors,
Yeah.
is the instigator in this, so he has to start the fight.
Right, exactly.
So how's that going to happen, Jason?
Oh, well, easy is how it's going to happen is that Robin Hood is doing his thing, right? He's robbing the rich. He's giving it to the poor.
Right.
He's fucking around Prince John because Prince John's a dick.
Yeah.
Right? And Prince John's like, man, fuck this guy. he's just taking my money. Man, this is some bullshit. All right. Well, dang. But then Robin Hood and his merry men were, going through the town and all that stuff. And, of course, they go to the bar. They go to the pub because it's England in, like, the Middle Ages. What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
You shovel manure for, like, the whole day and you drink. That's all you do in England in the Middle Ages if you weren't, like, royalty.
Perhaps make a stew.
Perhaps make a stew of rabbit feet and quail lungs. Make sure you have some bread, too.
Quest for the Holy Grail in your off time.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so they're they're drinking. Robin's boisterous, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm good at this archery shit, man. Let me show you." Like, so he's like getting bottles up in the rafters and stuff like that, and of course, while he's like shooting arrows, he almost hits someone in a dark cloak.
All right.
Like, just grazes him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he actually hits part of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Robin doesn't notice. And the guy's like, hey. And Robin looks over and is like, what? And he's like, you messed up my hood. And Robin's like, hey, man, listen. I know you don't know who I am.
This is my hood.
But I'm Robin Hood. I don't know if you know that. But I'm Robin Hood. And, hey, I'm sorry I almost hit you. It's cool. I've been drinking a little bit.
Prince John can kiss my ass.
But, I got some golds here, I can give to you and all that stuff. And the hooded figure's like, yeah, I know. And to be honest, you're not that good of an archer. And Robin Hood says this. He's like, oh, really? And he quickly, without even hesitation, gets an arrow, right? Tries to, he hits the hooded figure's hood, right? And it snags and it, like, basically puts him up against a wall.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then it was revealed as Axel, and Robin Hood sort of like mocks him. He's trying to scare him and like puts the arrow to Axel's like, now you want to say that again? And Axel just smiles and is like, yeah, you're an amateur. And then he launches his like giant disc fire.
Very good Kingdom Hearts dialogue right there. Yeah.
And he launches his fiery like flame disc of doom, and it's just like wrecking everybody and all that stuff. And then the whole tavern, everyone's running except Robin Hood, and it's Axel, Robin Hood in this tavern that's on fire. Is a duel, and they're just going ham. So
I feel like it would be a pretty good fight, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's, Axel's got some absolute ridiculous weapons right there, but I feel like Robin Hood could actually
think his way out of it.
Yeah, he could hold his own, and he's probably faster.
Mm-hmm. He could think his way out of it at least. Like he can at least like anticipate or get himself out of that situation.
Yeah, I didn't think that was where you were going, but that's a pretty good visual right there. I thought it would just be like, Axel kind of looks like he's rich a little bit. You go into medieval England and you look, you're an anime pretty boy, then you must be rich enough to take a bath.
Oh no, he just has like the power to like appear in any dimension, so you really don't have to explain why Axel's there.
Yeah,
like the organization members just appear in dimensions all the time.
Well, no, like in order for Robin Hood to instigate, I thought it would be like, Axel looks rich, so now I got to rob him.
He's a rich person,
so now I got to pickpocket him.
Yeah, I played it more with the whole just Robin Hood just being arrogant.
Oh,
because that's a clear.
That's like his main like
character thing is that like he is arrogant to that point. So he would pick a fight with somebody at a bar,
right?
But then that person at the bar is like, one of the 13 darknesses.
I'm just imagining.
He's a Final Fantasy pretty boy. Like, he would get in a fight with.
I'm imagining Robin Hood and the Merry Men. in the pub, and then there's the anime character in the background.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
it's like that scene in Devil May Cry with the pizza.
Oh no, Axel is Dante. He really is. If you see any clip of him, he is basically Dante.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
but
so, yeah, I love.
No, I think those are two pretty good matchups right there.
All right.
Very interesting, but that is going to actually that's going to wrap it up for this episode.
Yeah. Of
Impossible Versus Matches. I'm Joseph, and I've been joined by my good friend Jayson. Jayson, where can they find you?
Well, my dear Joseph, they can find me at The Young Kings with a Z podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, sir.
The Z makes it cooler.
Yes, exactly.
It also avoids the Young Kings.
Exactly.
With the S.
Exactly. So, yeah, you can find me there. I'll give you some links, and if you want to post some links, you can check the links down below for the podcast. I just mostly just talk about whatever I want to talk about. I have Joseph on there all the time. It's mostly me, sometimes. Joseph,
Jose, who's also on this show.
Exactly. It's just,
and Preston, who's also on this show.
Exactly.
We're almost the same show, except not entirely.
No. We're part of the podcast family.
Yes.
We're just if honestly Jose started a podcast with himself, we'd assemble the trifecta. We would just make a podcast network at that point. If you have if you have at least 3 podcasts, you could just make a podcast network.
There we go. Maybe that's the future. Probably not.
Okay, so yeah, that's where you can find me.
Join us next time for more of this.